This is Artist Log 1. This is Aeneas Middleton. Location, Massachusetts. I wanted to be able to get into more kind of a description of the four artworks that I have at the Colonna Contemporary Gallery, which is located in. This is one of the premier art galleries down in Pennsylvania, and Michele Colonna is just like a art lover, and he's just one of those guys who really cherishes art and has been known for pushing the space forward for Web3 and also for physical artworks. So that's why making this log the first of many, and I felt like this was the right time and the right place to be able to put together a video that talks about the artwork that I have at the Colonna Contemporary Art Gallery. So piece number one, we're going to go with Citrus. Citrus is a 24 by 36 oil painting. Also has spray can as well. It's on canvas. The dimensions is more, it's vertical. And it's one of like the first pieces that I actually started using spray can, started using oil and mixing those two kind of together, and kind of really being very creative with the style that I wanted for it. And I remember when I started creating it, it was like just one of those pieces that was like very striking when I made it. And I just kind of knew that I was onto something new. I actually made a piece before this, though, that kind of used the same kind of style. And shout out to my boy Barry, who's actually one of my biggest collectors of all my paintings. And he actually secured the first piece. But I wanted to kind of continue that style and just in that realm of my art and stuff like that. So Citrus ended up coming alive, and all of my paintings pretty much start off with a brush stroke, and I never know where they're going to be eventually when they end. The piece that I actually sold at Sotheby's was actually a robot, and I didn't like it. I was like, So I ended up like covering over it, and those brush strokes were like just that kind of like the frustration and the emotion that I had behind it. So I kind of like, after I sold that piece Evergreen at Sotheby's, I kind of stuck with that, like just not caring and being different and being innovative in the style that I would be with my art. So Citrus is one of those pieces. Next up, we have Mechanism. Mechanism is another piece that is 24 by 36 inches. It's vertical. This piece is kind of like almost one of those pieces where it was actually one of the first pieces that actually kind of had another painting underneath it that I kind of started and liked it, but then kind of like started pulling huge brush strokes and started covering up like what I didn't like in the painting, and ended up becoming like just collage of the paint strokes kind of like converging over the painting. And in the center area you kind of see like an eye and a triangle, and eyes are always in my pieces. It's in Citrus, it's in pretty much all of my pieces, and kind of defines like, that's the first thing I notice on someone. So that's why I kind of put it in my art. And, it just was very a creative piece, and like there's words that you can see kind of like underneath it. You kind of figure out what it is, and it kind of seems like when you have a viewer, when they look at art like that, they always, when it's something's a little bit more mysterious, people are very more intrigued by that. So it's kind of like one of those pieces. Like as soon as I released it, it was like boom, everybody was really showing me love on it. Citrus, the same thing, and it was just like one of those pieces where I just loved immediately. Started throwing paint at it, and it's one of those paintings where I was kind of like, what, green. I will kind of say green, blue, orange, yellow are like the colors that I love to use, and I'm just like excited about creating with those particular colors on my palette. The third piece in the collective is Vivimeus Meridium. This is it's a piece that was like in the same realm of mechanism and like the involvement, and I used gold around the edge, and I had a dream a long time ago that a tiger had visited me in my dream and actually told me what to paint, and actually wanted me to paint the tiger. So I actually made a piece in that realm, and ever since then I kind of been sticking with using the spray can and using the lines, and then after that go over it with black lines that kind of resemble the fur on a tiger. And originally I was kind of only doing orange, and then one day I started using green, and then doing that as the same thing, and it ended up just being kind of like so abstract, so different. And originally when I started painting this piece, the colors started turning a little gray, and I was kind of like mixing all these weird colors together. And then, when you kind of doing so many different colors like that and blending them, it starts becoming either brown or gray or vice versa. So what I did was actually went and got a scraping tool and just started scraping away the paint. And I just started noticing that these crazy colors underneath it that actually originally were like either spray can or the other colors that I already put on the canvas were beneath it. And then you just kind of got these so much interesting kind of like styles and colors and blends as I started doing that. So I started doing enough as I felt like I could, but not taking away too much. And it just ended up being an unbelievable piece. And the reaction to it, especially on Instagram and Twitter, I mean, X, it's just phenomenal. So I just love this piece. It's one of those pieces where it's just like, it's super cool and it's super exciting. And it's actually 16 by 20 dimensions. And I just can't wait to see this particular piece in a future collector's hands. Lastly, we have a piece called Water, Nectar, and Ambrosia. That particular title, those words, actually, I had for a long time. I had since I was a kid, since I started learning the definition of Aeneas and Latin history and Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and learned that when Aeneas had died, his mother had made him a god, but she had to ask the gods for him to become a god. And when they granted her, she ended up rubbing nectar and ambrosia on Aeneas, but he was actually in water when she did it, and he ended up becoming the god, Guide and Diges. So this particular piece, like the title of it was something that kind of like reflect my name, and it was like super exciting to see like it come alive and it being, something that was a super cool. It's a 16-inch by 16-inch piece, oil spray can and acrylic. Like I said, mostly all my pieces are going to have that particular blend. I'm just happy about that. And this was actually one of the pieces where I was like starting to really kind of continue in that evergreen kind of realm, what I did with my art, where it was kind of like the brushstrokes were more vertical, but I kind of had This time it was kind of like more diagonal. And my paintings actually wanted to be where they're just not flat. None of them. All my paintings in some way are going to have some type of 3D element or grain where you're going to really see it, touch it, feel it, and it's just going to stick out at you. And there's just pieces of the yellow you can see, or on the right hand side you can see kind of like the edges of the white paint that are just like the way I cut it or the way I used it. Because I'll use a little foam, I'll use a board, I'll use many different things, brushes, to be able to create the texture that I need. Start throwing paint at it, yellow, and like I said, blue, yellow, green, evergreen, royal blue, navy blue. I mean, just all different type of shades of blue I just really love. And actually put pink in there as well, and purple, which kind of like was like, holy crap, like this is something that's different. It kind of reminds me of something that could be like, on a clothing line or something like that. But it was just like, it's just so colorful. And my paintings that I feel like that are the most colorful, like as soon as you see it, they're just like so attractive. And that's where I wanted to go with, this particular painting. And the eye that I had, and putting this green that I actually found at a art store, was already created, and I didn't have to mix it. And I kind of use that as like a shadow, or not shadow, more of like an eyeliner over the eye, and putting like a dot above it and two dots beneath it. Just represents like the triangle, the all-seeing eye, the third eye. But just really, it coming alive like that was just like one of these huge dynamic pieces. And surprisingly, it was my most liked piece on IG. Like when I posted it, I was just getting likes from everywhere, from people from all over the world really liking this piece. So it's actually kind of like interesting to see how people really felt like they could relate to that. And, I really feel like as an artist, I'm like, I'm really in the realm of where I need to be, and taking these ideas from titles or designs or ideas, and they all come from dreams. They all come from visions. Like I said, I usually, when I do my paintings, I never have, oh, I know I'm going to do this. It all starts from one brushstroke and ends up becoming something that, ends up becoming alive in a way. So when people see my art in a gallery, exhibition, vice versa, I want it to where it's going to stick out immediately. So to have these four pieces, all these pieces in the Colonna Gallery is just like a great thing. And I'm really super excited to be in this gallery. It's my first gallery to have my art featured in. And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to do a solo show. I really do feel like as soon as that day happens, people are really going to see this variety and the range that I have on my art, because I just have so many different ideas to have for my solo show. So eventually when that happens, I feel like people are really going to understand me as an artist and want to ask questions, want to know how I created it. But that's why I want to do this video, to where it's like, you don't have to at this moment. I encourage anyone to please go down to Wayne, Pennsylvania, check it out, talk to Michele, and, let him show you the art that I do have down there. And it's something that's beautiful. So, please stay tuned. Anybody who's interested, definitely hit up online. Michele will definitely take care of you. And looking forward to the first acquisition at the Colonna Contemporary Art Gallery in Wayne, Pennsylvania. This is Aeneas Middleton, aka Harley Davidson. Check it out.